I can still hear the sound of her ribs breaking, a sharp crack that wasn't loud but cut through the morning like a rifle shot. People say war leaves its scars on distant battlefields, but sometimes it comes crawling back years later, right in your own driveway. Brookhaven Hills was supposed to be quiet, a suburb where the loudest thing you usually heard was a lawnmower or a delivery truck. I had spent 7 years trying to bury the soldier in me after leaving the Navy SEALs, trading sandstorms and gunfire for barbecues and neat lawns. That morning, the sun poured down in a golden haze, burning off the last of the mist while I washed my old Ford F-150. Sarah stepped out of the SUV in a pale blue sundress, grocery bags balanced in her arms, her dark hair loose around her shoulders. She caught me staring and teased me for not helping. I grinned, but noticed the small crease in her brow. When she mentioned the gray Malibu that had crept past our house 3 nights in a row, I brushed it off. Packages were going missing, the Willis camera had gone dead, but I told her not to worry. She sighed, said she didn't like the feeling of being watched. I wanted to tell her I felt it too, the prickling at the back of my neck whenever headlights slowed near our street, but I swallowed the words. Sarah deserved peace, and I pretended I wasn't already scanning the cul-de-sac like I used to scan rooftops in Fallujah. We thought we'd built something ordinary. Neat lawns, farmers market peaches, laughter drifting down the block. But Sarah knew better. She'd lived through her own scars, a hold-up at a grocery store years before, where glass had showered down as a kid waved a pistol around. She still flinched when doors slammed too hard. Between us, we made one whole, slightly broken person. Me with the combat reflexes, her with the quiet bravery. Still, neither of us could shake the unease. The gray Malibu kept circling. Cigarette butts appeared near our mailbox. Footprints showed by the side gate that weren't ours. Neighbors whispered about packages vanishing and cameras smashed. A flyer warned of imposters posing as utility workers. Sarah told me something bad was coming, but I laughed it off, even as my instincts prowled beneath the surface. What we didn't know was that Richard Kane, the president of the Brookhaven Hills HOA, had been pulling strings. He wanted our homes leveled for new townhouses, and for families who wouldn't sell, he turned to intimidation. He sent 2 men, Troy Maddox, tall and bearded, with a mean streak, and Cal Rivers, shorter, thick-set, snake tattoo curling around his wrist. They played enforcers, showing up with fake badges, breaking fences, stealing mail, pushing neighbors until they packed up. Sarah had felt it before either of us could name it. By the time they strolled up our driveway in their sunglasses and vests, the trap was already set. It happened fast. Sarah was balancing the last bag of groceries when Troy raised his plastic badge, claiming violations. She told him there was no HOA here. His mask slipped. Multiple complaints, he said, stepping closer. His hand shot out, fingers clamping her arm, and when she tried to pull away, he shoved her hard. The bag hit the concrete, peaches scattering. She stumbled against the SUV, heel catching the curb, and went down. The crack of bone against pavement froze the air around me. Sarah gasped, clutching her ribs, her breath shallow and jagged. Cal crouched by her purse, rifling through it, while Troy stood over her with folded arms, calm as if hurting her was nothing more than routine. I stepped forward, boots squelching in the water from the hose, every instinct tightening inside me. Sarah tried to rise, failed, and whimpered, fingers white-knuckled against her side. Combat erased hesitation. In one smooth motion, I closed with Troy, pivoted, and threw him hard onto the driveway. Cal's hand twitched toward a knife, but Sarah, even broken and gasping, fumbled for her pepper spray and hit him in the face. It gave me seconds. I ran for the porch, ripped open the hidden panel, and pulled out my old M4. The weight steadied me, the stock fitting into my shoulder like it had never left. When I turned back, Troy was on his feet again, Cal stumbling with the knife. My voice came out low and cold, "Step away from her." They didn't. The Malibu idled at the curb, waiting like a getaway beast. When they scrambled back to it, I fired 6 rounds in 6 seconds. Fender, mirror, hood, tire, windshield, trunk. Each shot pinned them down until the car died half-spun in the street. Neighbors peeked out, phones raised. Sirens wailed closer. I kept the rifle trained as Troy and Cal dropped to the asphalt. Hands behind their heads, all swagger gone. The aftermath stretched longer than the fight. Police cuffed Troy and Cal. Paramedics eased Sarah onto a stretcher. Her face was pale, but her eyes steady when she whispered, "I'm okay. Stay calm." I gave my statement, each fact laid out plain. Assault on my wife, threat with a knife, 6 controlled rounds at the car. My lawyer, Halpern, said Texas castle doctrine was clear. The DA pressed, but neighbors' videos showed it all. Sarah on the ground, the knife in Cal's hand, the Malibu jerking under gunfire. In court, Halpern dismantled the case against me, showing the jury I hadn't fired at men, only at a threat trying to flee. Troy himself admitted under oath they'd been hired. He named Kane. Texts and footage backed it up. When the verdict came, charges against me were dropped. Troy and Cal were convicted, and Kane faced his own trial. Sarah squeezed my hand when it was over, whispering relief, not triumph. Weeks later, she came home, ribs healing, moving slow but unbroken. Recovery became routine, pillows arranged just so, late nights when I steadied her back, mornings when the porch was quiet again. I carved a wooden sign above the safe. "This home is protected by righteous fury." Sarah brushed the letters, saying softly, "It's not about anger. It's about knowing where the line is." By midsummer, laughter drifted across the cul-de-sac again. We hosted a cookout, smoke rising into a sky that finally felt harmless. But I never forgot the first rule of the field: trust your point man. At home, that was Sarah. I'd ignored her gut once, and we'd paid the price. Sitting beside her on the porch at dusk, her head against my shoulder, I knew peace wasn't a gift. It was something you kept watch over, side by side, with both steel and love.